Okay, here we go. Round one, game one. We won the roll. We will play first, since this seems to be that type of deck. I guess this hand is okay. We definitely need lands, but we have two, so we can play both of our 2-drops, and we have removal. So I think that's fine. If we had like a gate instead of this guy, it'd probably be better. It's going to be a while before we can cast him. I mean, so we definitely need to draw lands, but I don't think it really matters what we lead with here, just because we're probably tapping out to play either Disciple or the Greenside Watcher. Drawing another 7-drop was unideal. So I'm going to drop the Disciple just because it attacks a little bit better. I would really prefer not to have to use the ability, so I won't have to here, so that's nice. Alright, well, we're drawing a lot of expensive spells and we're not drawing lands. So I'll go ahead and attack with the Disciple, and probably just drop the Greenside Watcher. I mean, when you're limited on mana, it helps to maximize what mana you do have. If we just cast Mugging there on this, that would be fine, but maybe we can get a Cipher card out of him. The good news is if we get to 6 or 7 mana, we're probably going to win. Yeah, so this is a very strangely worded ability. This turn, each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. That it seems to imply that they had a +1/+1 counter to begin with. So does this only work on like the counter type creatures, like the 0/0 uncommon that Simic has? So it's looking like we're playing Simic Splash Black. Land. Alright, well, at least we got a land there. So we don't really need a Ground Assault. He can't really do much on 1 black mana. So I guess, and he probably won't want to trade, I would imagine. But I don't really want to trade either, and I probably want to kill this. So I'm just going to Mugging it now. We have Ground Assault for another threat if we need it. And just going to get in for 4. The reason why I did it there was just in case he wanted to keep me off Greenside Watcher. I don't have a gate now, but if I do draw a gate, this guy will be pretty important since we missed a land drop. And now unfortunately, we kind of just want to draw lands, and it's awkward because we don't have any 4 or 5 drops. Okay. I guess I'd probably prefer him to kill that guy compared to my Greenside Watcher. Sure. I'm very happy with him spending his turn killing my 2/2, basically. Yeah, I mean, obviously now we really want a gate. And I guess we're playing Greenside. Whoop, oh, come on. That was terrible. I hit F6 and then I hit F3 in the middle of combat, and I guess I didn't hit it hard enough because I didn't play Greenside Watcher, so that was pretty bad. So, let's see. He gets in here. If he pumps, he can't really activate the key rune to block me, so I guess he just wants to hit. That's fine. I don't feel terribly threatened right now. Alright, well, I'm just going to get in. So yeah, I missed out on 2 damage here, so that's not good. He would be at 8 right now. So if he gets down to 2 life and then we lose the game, that misplay cost me pretty bad. Okay. Well, I can't really do anything about that right now. I can attack into it, definitely, and then Wasteland Viper, you know, in response. And hopefully he doesn't deck a whole ton of lands off me. Okay, so this is really awkward because I want a Verdant Haven this turn just to get a land going, but I also want to use Wasteland Viper. I could Ground Assault his Metropolis Sprite and Wasteland Viper getting in. That would turn down his pressure. My concern here is if I tap out for Verdant Haven, then he can animate the Keyrun and hit me for 6, which is quite a bit. I do gain 2 life off that. I don't really know how much that's worth though. Yeah, I'm gonna pause and think about it. Okay, so I've decided that the way I'm gonna lose this game is, if he just basically gets in for 6 a couple turns in a row, I can't really race that at this point. So I'm going to attack with both and see if he blocks, and then if he does, Wasteland Viper to kill his Mind Eye Drake, and if he doesn't, then I can Verdant Haven, and I probably will be ground assaulting this as well. Alright, so he's doing it. So we will do this. So our guy lives, and his guy dies. And he gets Demillis here, which kind of stinks. Alright, well, he got 3 lands, a Cinder Elemental, and now he got 4 lands. So that's pretty awful. Yeah. So we're just going to ground assault this guy and just try and turn off his pressure. The other thing is, like, casting Verdant Haven, I don't know what I'll draw next turn, but it doesn't really do much. Like, I'll get to 4 lands, but I don't have a 4-drop in my hand, or a 5-drop, so I'm a pretty ways off of casting the cards in my hand, so I just decided to use them now. So if he wants to Agoraphobia this guy, like, that's totally fine. Yeah, he's not even activating his key rune. Okay, so let's see, or return target creature to its owner's hand. So I think this turn, I could bash in and maybe trade with this key rune, but that doesn't do much for me. And I'd prefer to keep my green side, or one of my watchers, just in case I do draw a gate. So I'm just going to put Verdant Haven down, and then pass the turn. So now we're on 4 mana, so we're still a ways off. Yeah, I mean, now at least we can block and pump to kill this. I was getting in with the Kieran, that's fine. Okay, we have Scorchwalker. I'm just going to play the Scorchwalker, and that can chump his 4/3 if we need to. We'll take some trample damage, presumably, but that's better than, trading 2 cards for it. And if he attacks in here, we kind of potentially threaten lethal damage, depending on, what he attacks with. So I guess he has 2 cards in hand, so like if he attacks with this, I probably won't. Well, maybe I do take it. We'll see what he does. Keymaster Rogue. That does not seem to be... That's fine. I mean, now he has to return this thing to his hand, and we can even... too bad we didn't have mana open. We could have bounced his Crown guy in response. That would have been a pretty big tempo gain. And the good news here, too, is he's probably not going to bash or trade with the Scorchwalker if we attack in. Interesting. So we know one of the cards in his hand. He's not replaying that? Huh. So to me that says that he has a trick. And we can't cast this guy. We can Blood Rush it though. Interesting. Yeah, and we can only bounce one thing. This gives like a lot of damage, but interesting. So I could attack with both, and just try and go for it here. Let's think, what could the one card in his hand be? It could be like a Dimir Charm. Looks like he's playing full on 3 colors, so he has access to a lot of tricks. Like Dimir Charm could be something. He has double black, so we could have the 4 mana, kill any non-black creature, which would be really bad for us. We could attack with both, and if he animates the Kieran, we could bounce it. Is that good? It's okay. We could also just block with whatever he blocks. We can just Simic Charm it to save it. I'm going to attack with both and see what happens. This way too, like we have this, so actually that's not lethal damage if we put it on the green side watcher, but okay, so he has 2 mana left, so I think we're going to have a good chance here to kill the key rune, probably just with Simic Charm. It'd be nice to be able to cast the Swine too. I guess the advantage to maybe buffing it with Zertar Swine is that we could have used the Simic Charm to like bounce his 4/4 or something, and then bashed in for a lot. So maybe that would have been a better play. One of the reasons why I kept the Zertar Swine in my hand is because now that we're getting in for 2 damage here, I kind of want to be able to have lethal off just this guy. He'll go down to 6, and then this will be a potentially lethal creature next turn. Let's see, he has 4 mana, so he can't play the Rhino and move Agoraphobia in the same turn. And if he moves Agoraphobia, like, that's fine too, because we still have 2 lethal attackers. Okay, so he's void walking? I don't know why he's doing that. I don't think this card does what he thinks it does. Like, if my understanding is this comes into play at the end of his turn. So even if he hits us with this, which it looks like that's his plan. So I imagine he's just gonna then exile our 2/1. And then we get them back at the end of our turn. Sure. Yeah, see, now they come back. When I first read this card, I thought, it was kind of like fading, or not fading, vanishing, where it would like skip a turn, and then it seemed insanely good to me. But when you read the card closely, it does not seem insanely good. He might just be dead now. I don't know. He has 1 card in his hand that we don't know about, but we're representing 2 lethal creatures. Okay, we drew a land. So we have a few options. I'm just going to attack with both, and then, if he plays a removal spell on one, I'm just going to Blood Rush the other and probably win. If he is somehow able to kill both, then I will just play Zertar Swine. And this is with power less than 2, so I'll just Blood Rush this guy and win. I could theoretically Blood Rush this and also win, but I don't think it matters. Alright, crunch. Alright, well somehow we got there despite drawing a bunch of useless 6, 7, and 6 and 7 drops, and not drawing much land. But he didn't really do a whole lot, so his deck seems pretty slow. So I think I'm pretty confident in our matchup against him, just because if the games go long and we get these things into play, like, these things are huge beatings. I like that he has a key rune, so we have a potentially good target for our Primordial. In terms of sideboarding, if he plays a bunch of like random evasive things, then maybe Massive Raid might be better, just to remove like the couple threats that he does have, especially if he puts Cypher on them. But yeah, I think we have enough removal to do that, so I'm going to go to